Hi there people, how's it going? This is Cross the Rubicon. It's just going dark now, and I just want to talk briefly about Te Pāti Maori, which is the Maori party of New Zealand, and Raweri Waititi and Debbie Packer and the Maori caucus in Parliament. That's Willie Jackson, John Tamahiri and quite a few others who are radical extremist Maori who believe that New Zealand is theirs and they basically want it back because the United Nations have declared that Maori are indigenous to New Zealand, which they're not, and well, basically ordered or told in New Zealand they must give a whole lot back to Maori when they never even owned it in the first place, because they came here by boat in their history 800 years ago. And they displaced the people that were here before. Now, these radical extremist Maori in Parliament have got their tails up. Raweri Waititi, Debbie Packer, Willie Jackson, JT, many more. I've got their tails up, and they smell fear and they smell power. Wait, come here. The dog, sheep. They smell power and they smell fear in the general public of New Zealand, who will not even criticise them because they fear that criticising Maori will bring claims of racist and, well, far right, white supremacist, whatever. And they do, because this is a tool they use to shut people down. And when Maori, these radical extremist Maori, right at the very top, I'm not talking about Maori per se. I've got to say this. This is about the radical extremist super elites of Maori who are screwing this country, and they are going to really screw it in the next couple of years. They continue to call anyone who disagrees with them a racist, and when they do that, they get the media to attack and destroy anyone who calls them a racist. People lose their jobs, they lose their livelihoods for calling out Maori. For calling out Maori. This is so wrong. We cannot debate anything in New Zealand. People that try to raise their heads, like Julian Batchelor. Julian Batchelor is from the far north. He's like me, the same skin colour as me. He's touring this country right now doing the Stop Co-Governance tour. And he's saying much the same as what I'm saying. And Maori radicals and extremists and the far left and the media are shutting down his events. They are shutting it down. They are using their power to shut down freedom of speech in New Zealand. And that is the media too, by calling him a far right lunatic or whatever. Now in New Zealand, these extremists are going to get 50-50 co-governance of this country. 50-50. This comes down from the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. Maori right now make up 16% of the population. The vast majority of Maori don't agree with this, but a small minority of radical extremists do, and they are in power. And they have such power that calling someone a racist in New Zealand destroys their lives. I'm on about people who look like me. Get called a racist by Maori radicals and you're destroyed. You may as well leave. So basically, if you're going to give them 50% of this country, you may as well just hand New Zealand over 100%. Because right now in New Zealand, with a small fraction of 16% controlling almost everything in New Zealand already. And to give them 50% of power, it's over. New Zealand is over. You may as well hand over the whole country, every single household, every farmer, every landowner. You may as well give it all up, because these people, I honestly believe Raweri Waititi and Debbie Packer and the rest, they want to turn New Zealand into the next Zimbabwe, the new Zimbabwe of the South Pacific. And there will be land confiscations in New Zealand. So if you're not Maori and you've got land in New Zealand, these people will come for your land. I truly believe that. They will confiscate the land of all non-Maori. And what makes it worse is that the United Nations will give them full support. The WEF, Klaus Schwab, will give them full support. George Soros too, full support. The media in New Zealand, full support. And the cowardly politicians of New Zealand who are not Maori, full support, because they'll be looking after their own skins. People like me, Julian Batchelor, a few others will be arrested, put in jail, possibly offed, who knows. But this is coming, people. If you think this is not coming, then honestly, you haven't studied history. You need to know history. This will come to New Zealand. These people can smell our fear. Their tails are up, and they, at some stage, given 50% of the power, you may as well give it to them all. Give them 100%, because that's what they're going to take. You look how we bend over backwards now for these radical extremists. We bend over backwards. We are terrified, all of us. I'm not. But the vast majority of this country, the vast majority, are terrified to criticise Maori. And I'm not talking Maori per se. I am talking about Maoridom and the extremists who are forcing Maori and Te Reo Maori down our throats. They are forcing it upon our children. They are forcing us to learn it. They are forcing it in our hospitals. They are forcing it in our schools on our children. It's about time New Zealanders actually stood up and grew some and start saying no. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you don't agree with me, if you think I'm talking rubbish, then tell me so. This is Cross the Rubicon. Please like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. If you want to buy me a coffee or a beer, I'll leave the details below. Okay, see you later.